Hey, how's it going, YouTube? It is officially transfer window time. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, in between the majors, so Major 1 and Major 2, start of the second split, there's about a week and a half period where teams are allowed to actually change their rosters. Can't do it any other time. A lot of these conversations actually begin a long time ago. We've already seen a lot of those roster transfers as soon as they didn't qualify the majors start to begin. But we do have the official time window when we are going to see teams officially lock in, announce their new rosters and all that kind of stuff. So over the next week and a half, we're going to have some pretty crazy ending of teams, their runs, history, whatever you may call it. And if that sounds overwhelming, don't worry, I got you covered. Check out the description. There is a roster document link in there. If you're on the Twitch, say hi, everybody, on Twitch chat. But you do !RLCS rosters, it'll pull up this document as well. We'll try to update these as frequently as I can over the next couple of weeks, but the official transfer window has began on March 31st and goes until April 13th. So just shy of 2 weeks, or 2 weeks exactly at this case. They did extend it a little bit. A couple things for us to talk about today. Again, Shift doing the dirty work for a majority of these, but some of these actually already made publicly official. The first one is Reysbull will no longer, after 3 years, be with Complexity. Reysbull is kind of the only original member of that squad, and after 3 years is now moving on. They talk about why, and they say it's a mutual agreement. It says, unfortunately, years of living abroad took its toll and we're mutually agreeing to part ways. Reysbull does even reply to this and say, hey, I joined this club as a kid. A lot of affection. They've always treated me super well. Best of luck. Hope you guys dominate North America. So Reysbull going back to South America. When they talk about 3 years, it's kind of weird because the living abroad thing only happened for a year at a time. Not that that's any discredit. They moved to North America. There was a bunch of visa issues. They came back to South America. I think they temporarily lived in Cancun for a bit, unless I'm thinking of Furia. But Complexity has gone back and forth, and they had visa issues, so they came back. And then they went back this year. So I'm sure it's been difficult to go back and forth and bounce back and forth between. It's a lot of moving. And when you're a young kid, which everybody in the Rocket League space, in my opinion, still is, it is nice to be in the comfort of your own home. So with that in mind, you do have what is CRR and Diaz. And you go, okay, that's a lot of talent. Who do you pair with that? Current rumors, according to Shift, is they are targeting Frosty, former space station. I don't know if Frosty speaks Spanish or Portuguese, if they are Brazilian. So you've got CRR, who's Spanish, Diaz, who is Brazilian. So I don't know what that necessarily means, if they're going to communicate in English. If Frosty speaks Spanish, I don't know what the situation would be for communication, but that's a lot of offense. I don't know what that would do for cohesion and like how things would look, but interesting if it pairs out. Obviously, there hasn't been too much insight into the whole Frosty why he was released thing, but if he is not putting in the time and effort, or if he is being sidetracked by other obligations or other priorities in his life, is how we'll say it, I'm very interested to see on how this team's going to play out. It's a very unique situation. Emperor is saying in chat that pretty sure Frosty can speak Spanish, so maybe they communicate in Spanish. Although Portuguese and Spanish are similar, it is definitely different. So interested to know that. I could probably reach out to their coach Nagusum and see if he can provide some insight about that situation. But yeah, as of right now, CR Diaz with their coach, new third, potentially going to be Frosty. What does that mean for Reysbull, though? What does that mean in his circumstance if he's going back to South America? The current rumors, according to Shift, are that he is going to be joining Corinthians. If you guys don't know Corinthians, they are currently standing in 4th place, just slowly behind Furia, Secret, and I forget the third. I think it's Godsend or something like that. I think this will be a pretty large improvement. I think Reysbull still has a lot left in the tank. Drops and Brad are not bad by any means. What that means for Sad, I don't know what the domino effect is going to create if he's going to go and try to find a new spot and if they strengthen their results. But Reysbull, Drops, and Brad, I do think Godfidence. Thank you, Godfidence. But I do think Reysbull, Drops, and Brad can definitely punch. They've been in with Sad the last 2 semifinals. They started a little bit slow, and then they've gotten 2 top 4s. So there is definitely a potential for them to come in and try and make an impact. But maybe we now have a 3-horse race, technically a true 4-horse race for South America, because from what we saw from Secret's been competitive and really, really good online, but they've struggled for sure. So very interested to see how that one all plays out. With that in mind, we are going to then jump over to a different region, and it is OCE. This was rumored. Now it is confirmed. Power has kind of been the odd man out when it comes to the OCE fight. We have seen obviously the top two with TSM also in that lineup, in that conversation of who is going to go and represent over in the majors. Without a doubt, we're always going to see wildcard because Torsos, without a doubt, will always find a way to be there. But you're taking a team that has proven the potential to go and win the whole thing and pairing it with Gus. You've got Lunar and Caleb with Adam Baguette, their coach, joining them, and they're adding Gus to the mix. Power is the one foot in the bill. So Scrims World did release them. We've already talked about that. But we now have a full new lineup for Team Power, who is trying to make it back to the major. With only 2 spots, pretty competitive. But again, you're talking between these 3 teams, between Chiefs, Healthy Chiefs, Wildcard, TSM, and now Power. I think you've got a pretty solid lineup to add some competition within the region so they can send their best 2 going into what is going to be Raleigh for Major 2. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think if OCE can play upset, because let's be clear, Furia is obviously a good team. Furia is going to add a spot likely to South America. But if OCE finds a way to get both of their teams in top 8 and they go over the hurdle, obviously we saw some regression with teams going 1 and 3 this time instead of the 2-3 we normally see. Who knows? Asia also played a upset. So the boys on Luminosity. So we're trying to see who's going to get that 4th and final last chance qualifier. My opinion, obviously, if Twisted Minds keeps playing the way they do, number 3 is going to be Mina. You've got EU and NA guaranteeing getting a 4th or technically a 5th seed coming in. Mina's 3, so it's a battle between Sam and OCE. If OCE can do it with numbers, if they can have 2 teams that make it, there's a potential, but I don't know, man. South America, you're going to have Furia continuing to outperform pretty much anybody, in my opinion, so I would like to assume that 3rd and final seed will go to the SAM region, but whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. So that's what we got. Also, last but not least, don't know if this is bait for April Fool's Day or not, because while this, yes, was done on March 31st, my time, that is technically 12:02 a.m. on April 1st. Just stay off of Twitter during April 1st, guys. Stay off of Reddit. Stay off of, just ignore it. There's a lot of impression farming going on. I promise you, none of the things I'm talking about today are fake. I could see a Chronic actually retiring. I could see a Chronic being like, hey, I'm done with it, because let's be clear, he hasn't had a proper team that he started on in a while. Results haven't been there on the teams he has been on, so maybe it is time to just say, hey, I'm not getting any opportunities, any tryouts. It's time to wrap it up. But this also could be an April Fool's joke. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on this one, but if I had to guess, I would assume it is true based upon the history we've seen lately with the Chronic. So that is what we've got for current roster news, rumors, transfer options, things to be thinking about. Still trying to figure out and debate what the heck's going to happen with Shopify. Hawks or Chicago definitely sticking. So who's their 3rd going to be? Are Parth and 2-piece going to stay the same? Common Talk, are they going to go their separate ways? There's probably like 4 or 5 major rosters that we're like up in the air about. Hopefully getting some answers here sooner than later. Either way, if you guys want to know more, check out the roster document in the description while you're down there. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, helps me out greatly. Check out the socials, join the Discord, all that kind of stuff. Good place to have that conversation. But I'm out of here. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.